Hi, Algebra 1. This is going through the review packet. There'll be a few parts to this. I won't work out every one of the problems in just one video. So the packet I gave you, problem number 1, they want you to evaluate when b is equal to 6. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this 6 and I'll plug it in. So I get 3 times 6 minus 9, which is 18 minus 9, which gives me an answer of just 9. So you would see the answer that was there. And then think about maybe things you might want to write down on a sheet of paper for the test. Problem number 2, we have k over 8 equals 11. Well, let's multiply both sides by 8 to get that out of the way. So k equals 88, which you can see the answer there. Number 3, negative 23 plus h is equal to negative 36. So we'll add 23 to both sides. Those cancel out, so h is equal to negative 36 plus 23 is going to be negative 13. I'm sure you can see the answer. Again, mark down anything on a sheet of paper that you would like to use on the final exam. Number 4, we have negative 74 is equal to 2 parentheses 6x minus 1. You want to distribute over the parentheses, so 2 times 6x is 12x, and 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. Add 2 to both sides. Those cancel out, so I get negative 72 is equal to 12x. Divide each side by 12, or yeah, 12. So you find that x is equal to negative over positive is going to be negative, and that's going to come out to negative 6 for an answer. Number 5, we have p plus 2b plus 2h. So I want b to be all by itself. I'm going to subtract 2h from both sides. P minus 2h is just that. I can't go any further. And then 2 and b are being held together by multiplication, so I need to divide. So b is equal to p over negative 2h all over 2. Watch your signs on that one because there's a couple answers that look close to it, but the signs are off a little bit. Number 6, we have 2x plus 4y is equal to 12. We want to get y all by itself, so I'm going to subtract 2x because it's positive 2x as it sits. Those cancel. So 12 minus 2x. Divide each side by 4. And let's see how the answers are written. Oh, okay. So make sure you realize that I can break this to look like this. So you can reduce 12 over 4, which is 3, and that becomes half x, or x over 2. So negative half x. And it looks like they rewrote it to where the x came first. So you have a negative half x, and then that's a positive 3. So that's your answer. Again, think about what you want to write on that note or that sheet of paper. You get the absolute value of x plus 3 is equal to 8. Okay, so a couple ways we could do this problem, but a real quick simplistic way is just make 2 problems out of it. Have it equal positive 8, have it equal negative 8. Notice I dropped the absolute value signs. Subtract 3 from both sides, so x is going to be equal to 5. Subtract 3 from both sides, so x is equal to negative 11. And you should be able to find those 2 answers. Number 8, you have something that looks like this. There's minus 1 equals 1. So if I add the 1 to both sides, those are going to cancel. So x plus 9 is equal to 2. And then just break it into 2 problems where you have x plus 9 equals 2, x plus 9 equals negative 2. Subtract 9 from both sides. So x equals negative 7. Subtract 9 from both sides. So x is also equal to negative 11. So you have 2 answers on those, okay? Number 9, they want us to solve the inequality and graph it. Let's distribute the negative 4 over both sides. So I got 24 minus 4p is less than negative 16p plus 12. Add 16p to both sides. So these are going to cancel out, and then also subtract 24 from both sides. So those cancel out. So this is going to give me 12p is less than 24, or 12 minus 24 is negative 12. Divide both sides by 12. So p is less than negative 1. So on a number line, I have a 0 here, I have a negative 1 here, I have an open dot, and because the letter is first, it's shading left. Make sure this letter is first. If not, flip the whole problem over to make that first, because this will tell you the direction you shade. Number 10, I have negative 5 plus 5m is less than or equal to negative 3 plus 7m. Let's start getting m by itself, so I'm going to subtract 5m from both sides. Those cancel out. I'm also going to add 5 to both sides. Or I take that back, I'm going to add 3 to both sides. So those cancel each other out. That's going to give me negative 5 plus 3 is negative 2. 7m minus 5m is 2m. You might want to flip this whole thing over before we divide it. So notice I flipped it over just to get the letter on the left side. When you do that, that's going to allow you to show the direction you shade. So I have negative 1 here, I have 0 here. This is going to be a solid dot because I have the equal sign, and the arrow points to the right, so I'm going to shade it this way. Again, whatever you want to write down on a sheet of paper, you get to use on the final, okay? Now I have this one, so I want to get x by itself. So 2x is greater than 18. Divide each side by 2. So x is going to be greater than 9. I'm going to go ahead and make the inequality. So it's an open dot going this way because the arrow is pointing that way. So remember, it's a parenthesis at 9, and it's going to infinity. Remember, infinity will never have a square bracket on it. And it's a soft bracket or a parenthesis on the 9 because it was not a solid dot. Number 12, I get negative 4k plus 5 is greater than or equal to 21. Let's subtract 5 from both sides, excuse me. So negative 4k is greater than 21 minus 5 is going to be 16. I'm going to divide both sides by negative 4. And if I do that, remember when you divide or multiply to get the letter by itself, the inequality sign flips the other way, and then 16 divided by negative 4 is negative 4. So if I have negative 4 here, I have 0 here. It's going to be a solid dot at the negative 4, shading to the left because that's the way the arrow is pointing. Number 13, I have negative 2 less than or equal to 2x minus 4 is less than 4. Remember, when you have the two sets of inequalities, you're going to break it into two problems. So here's one problem. And then the other problem is going to look like this. Okay, so I'm going to add 4 to both sides here. And that's going to give me a 2 on the left side. Divide each side by 2. These are going to cancel each other out, so that's 1 is less than or equal to x. Flip this over, though. Make it look like this. That'll make it easier to graph. And I add 4 to both sides here. So 2x is less than 8. Divide both sides by 2. X is going to be less than 4. So if we put this on a number line, if I have a 0 here, I have a 1 here, I have a 4 here, and I have a solid dot here, and that's going to go this way, and I have an open dot here going this way, so it's that shaded region in between with an open dot at the right side and a closed dot at the left side. Number 14, it's still the same idea we've been working with. We have two inequalities, so that means we have two problems that we're going to break it into. The middle goes with both. So my first problem is going to be this. I'm going to add 5 to both sides. Those cancel, so negative 4 plus 5 is 1. Then multiply both sides by 2. These cancel, so I'm going to get 2 is less than or equal to x. Flip this over so you know which direction to shade. And then do 1/2 x minus 5 is less than 5. Add 5 to both sides. Those cancel. 1/2 x is less than 10. Multiply both sides by 2. Those cancel. X is less than 20. So if you did this on a number line, you'd have 2 down here, solid dot going to the right. You have 20 right here. And then we have an open dot at 20, and that's going this way. So this is the shaded region, and the answer wanted it as the interval notation. So remember, the 2 is a solid dot, so that's a square bracket from 2 to 20, which is going to be a parenthesis because it's an open dot. Number 15. All right, so we have, I'm going to try and draw that. You have a dot here, you have a dot here, and you have a dot down here. And they have, this is labeled L, and this is N, and this is M. So let's figure out what the dots are first. Well, this dot appears, if I look at it, it looks like it's 0, 3. The N looks like it's at -2, 1. And this is going to be 1, -3. And I was just getting that off of the picture. All right, find the order for point L. So L is going to be 0, 3. Okay, so you can see that one. Number 16, what's an ordered pair for N? N is going to be the -2, 1. And then this is where we've been working with. Find the slope. So if I have this, maybe you want to make sure you write the slope equation down on a sheet of paper. Remember, this is the slope equation. So x1, y1, x2, y2. So the slope is going to be 7 minus -1 over 6 minus 2. Remember, that's going to give me positive, so 7 plus 1 is 8. And then 6 minus 2 is 4. And then reduce that. So that reduces to 2 over 1. Which is also equal to 2, so you can definitely see your answer. But make sure you've written this slope equation down. Number 18, they have a problem written that looks like this. And they say, hey, f of x is equal to 13. So remember on this one, we're not plugging the 13 in for the x. We're taking the 13 and it's going to replace this because that's what f of x is. So then I'm going to plug it in like that. We're going to solve. That's 16 equals 2x, divide each side by 2. So 8 equals x, or x equals 8. Number 19, we have g at x is equal to x squared plus 10. Now they want us to find g at 0. Well, this one, we're actually going to take that 0 and plug it in for x. So I get 0 squared plus 10, which is 0 plus 10. So our answer is just 10 because 0 added to 10. Okay, so that'll be good enough for today. I'll do another video for over the weekend to get the next bit done, and then we'll go from there. Have a great day. Bye-bye.